Well, hello. Look at us. We're back. We're on a new platform too. It looks a lot cleaner, looks a lot nicer. And the most important thing, Tony, what we were talking about before we went on air was there's no time limit, for God's sakes.
No, we can
Welcome
talk for
to
ages.
season 4 of Banditland Boulevard, previewing the 2025 season. Guys, the Bandits are coming off back-to-back titles. Buckle up. You are in for a hell of a roller coaster ride this season. And we're kicking it off with something that we really have never done before on the show. And we're doing a season preview. This isn't just a game one preview. We're doing a whole season preview. We're going to do a little bit of a roster breakdown, let you know where we've been and how things are going with us. And, give a quick look at the schedule and give our overall predictions on the season. But Tony, my co-host, how are you feeling going into this 2025 season as it's just starting this upcoming Saturday as we travel down the 90 to take on the K-Hawks?
Yeah, we get to face our little brother again down the street, if you want to claim it to be at the I-90. And for those of you who are going to go to the game, please be advised. It might be a weather advisory for more snow. So do please drive careful, get there safe. And also, if you want to get there, leave a little bit earlier just to make sure that you get there on time for game time. But getting back to the thoughts about this fact, my God, I feel like we've got a number 3, and I'm wearing the ring on the finger for a reason, is because the three-peat sounds delightful right now because of how we kept the same guys. We had a little bit of a couple new faces. We got rid of some people because of that. But again, you know what? It looks like it's a broad daylight to the spotlight once again for the Buffalo Bandits to repeat for the third straight time and claim victors or the spoils in the National Lacrosse League.
Exactly. The three-peat, I didn't think on this show ever we'd be talking about a season preview of a three-peat, but hey, I love the fact that we are here. I love the fact that the Bandits last year beat the Albany Firewolves in the championship to go back-to-back for the first time since I think the Nighthawks did in the early 2010s
Yep.
decade, but that's always great to see. But the Buffalo Bandits are back, man. And if you just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors that are still loyal to this very, very show, Tony,
Absolutely.
I don't think the fans remember the
No,
sponsors.
they will
It's been
now,
so long.
especially with the way things are going with us.
We're so busy in everyday life and the off season, we just can't get around to record, even though we want to. We just can't
Yeah.
get around. So, but luckily for us, our sponsors are still sticking around.
Yes, they are. And we like to give out our biggest sponsor is Mitchell's Tavern, located at 734 Sheridan Drive up in Tonawanda, New York. Folks, if you haven't tried their food yet, you are obviously missing out. Go there, mention us, the boys from Banditland Boulevard. There over there is Trevor Hauer, myself, Tony LaMonica, aka Boxhead 98TL. And mention us, and I guarantee you get a little promo for a discounted for food and possibly with the best service in town. I guarantee you guys, you will not be disappointed. Also, we'd like to thank Herney's Journeys for Suzanne Pike, who runs the bookings and agents. If you guys want to check it out, also at Suzanne Pike at Herney'sJourneys.com. Guys, you want to plan on your next adventure, please give her a buzz on her email or on through herniesjourneys.com. Also, we'd like to make sure to shout out to YouTube for allowing you to see who we are, and to, for Spotify podcast now, it is no longer Anchor, but you guys can listen in on every device possible known to man to all of your Buffalo Bandits needs.
And also, big shout out to StreamYard as well. This is a new thing that's kind of
New
spontaneous for us.
stream, let's go.
We have left the trash bin that is the Zoom workplace platform. So bye
Yeah,
bye Zoom. We don't need a sponsorship from you because we have moved on. But
that's right.
you know what else has moved on? The 2024 season has moved on. Sure,
Yes, it has.
we're gonna get our banners on banner raising night on December
Mhm.
28th against the Rochester Nighthawks. And believe me, we're gonna talk more about that game when we preview our schedule here for the 2025 season. But dude, I mean, I'm so amped up for the season. Just looking at the active roster right now, you got to kick things off. You got to go in numerical order to preview your 2025 season as of December 4th. Number one, Tehoka Nanticoke, bro. He's coming back with a vengeance. He's just going to be Tehoka. He's going to be himself. He's going to be the clutch forward that he is. I think, maybe a couple years down the road, he has that ability to wear at least the A on his sweater. or maybe whenever Steve Priolo decides, hey, I'm sick of this winning thing, and he decides to retire, he's definitely a C option in my opinion too, a future captain.
I believe it too because he brings that the toughness and the grit to be in front of the net and get those loose balls, and especially for the fact that he creates magic when he gets it. He has got such good hand-eye coordination. He finds the back of the net without trouble, and he makes the goaltenders keep guessing every time he has the ball. It's like you don't know if he's going to go up high over the shoulder or he's going to go low between the five hole. You never know with this guy, but he always creates plays and he makes a huge difference for the Buffalo Bandits, not only to win back-to-back titles, but possibly a third coming on their way.
I can't wait for that. And Chris Kluche, too. I mean, he's coming back. He's got a couple rings on his finger as well. Another key forward to this team. A huge part of our postseason success last year. I'm going to give a quick shout out to a new face for the Buffalo Bandits as well from the Rochester K-Hawks, or as we like to call them on this show, the Rochester
Yep.
Fraud Pigeons. He is no longer wearing the Army green. He is wearing the orange and black. Thomas Whitey, transition, 6'1", 185 pounds, shoots lefty. What do you think about this guy, Tony?
Well, again, with the transition that he's done in the past against us, he's been creating chaos, and he also knows how to break up the big passing plays when they want to break up into the offensive field. But again, having Thomas Whitey on this team could bring another stepping stone, could also bring up his game because now he's going from one team to the next. And also for the fact that Thomas Whitey is thinking, oh, I am not going to be going far away from home. I'm playing for another team right down the street, basically. And you know what? We welcome those that come to Buffalo and want to, contribute to this team and also probably be a part of a new championship picture in his book. So, Thomas Whitey, we welcome you with open arms like any Buffalonian would. And we wish you the best of luck and represent number 3 very well because that number was a former captain as well under Billy D. Smith. And
A
also,
very
before
key
we
part of
also
our team's
go to the
history.
next person, because we missed it, happy
Yes.
birthday to number 2, Chris Kluch. Happy
Yes,
birthday,
it's your
buddy.
birthday today,
It is
Chris.
your
Happy
birthday
birthday.
today.
Happy birthday, CC2. I
Happy
forgot about
birthday.
that. How could one of the co-hosts of this show forget that it's Chris Kluche's birthday?
I caught that
Unbelievable.
on Facebook under the Bandits page, so I was like,
Straight
yep,
out of
got to make sure to
Kitchener,
bring that up.
Ontario. He's bringing the heat every single week when he laces up the cleats. And dude, we love watching Chris Kluche play. So yeah, happy birthday, CC2.
Happy birthday,
Of
number
course.
2.
Ian McKay, a guy who all NLL owners unanimously voted number 1 transition in the game, and I'm not questioning that whatsoever. Quattro,
That's
Ian McKay, dude,
awesome.
I can't wait to see what the tricks that he has pulled up his sleeve for this season. The guy can play defense, the guy can score, the guy can lay body checks, the guy gets into fights, dude. I mean, Ian McKay is going to have I'm excited to see his 2025 season come into full effect.
Yeah, I gotta only say, no matter what position he's gonna be for, defense, transition, offense, whatever the coach wants him to play, he plays all positions. You can put him in net for all we know, and he can still make a save. So that's the fact is Ian McKay has shown he's got leadership qualities. He knows how to put the ball in the net, and he probably will guide all these newcomers in the transition game to really boost up their confidence level and to really show them how to do it. And you know what? Kudos to you, Ian McKay, for being known as the best transition player. You
So good.
well deserved it, man.
So good. And another guy who's going to have a huge breakout season if he didn't already have one last year, and that's Cam Wires on defense,
Oof.
dude. 6'5", 220 pounds. The dude was an absolute stud, especially in the playoffs last year. I can't
Yeah.
wait to see number 5 get back out on the field. And also Paul Dawson. The dude, if you remember the Bandits parade the day after they won the championship, when he said I'm not effing leaving and this, that, and the other, he's back and he's like 41 years old. Paul Dawson was also interviewed today, and he basically said, I don't care if we win 2 in a row, 3 in a row. We're coming back. It's a new season. We're going to try to win as many of these freaking things as possible. And this could very well be Paul Dawson's last season. So I'm very, very excited to see what he's going to bring to the table. And I thought when we traded for him last year, that was the rejuvenation in the defensive department for the Buffalo Bandits.
Yeah, the moment we did sign Paul Dawson was a huge boost in morality for the defense because he brings not only the experience, but he also brings that caliber defenseman that we've been looking for, especially to help out Steve Priolo and other known players like Justin Martin. And for with Matt Spanger being out all season, especially with Bryce Sweeting being out all season,
Yeah.
he brought that I can do this as good as they can too attitude. And you know what? Kudos to his speech about the fact that he says, I don't care how many championships we win. I want to just win. And that is a great mentality to bring in, especially going back to back and going for your third in a row, if possible. But
It's the
Dawson was
mindset.
a huge key pickup
It's the
last year.
mindset. It's the mindset of my favorite championship I've ever won is the next one.
Yeah,
That's the kind of
exactly.
mindset that Paul Dawson has, and I love that philosophy. Dylan Robinson. So we will get into our key departures, but the only Robinson the Bandits have left on the team right now is Dylan, who did have a extremely breakout season last year. I mean, it was night and day difference. The 2024 Dylan Robinson compared to the 2023 Dylan Robinson. He's only going to get better, and he's only going to get better going into this season too. So I can't wait to see, and we'll give you the updates on what's going on with Justin and with Brandon as they are no longer
Yep.
on the Bandits roster. Sam LaRue, full-time roster spot. He has made the active roster, listed as a forward, 6'3", 195 pounds. We know him as the guy that's jumping up and down from the taxi squad to the active roster to the taxi squad back to the active roster. It looks like, by all accounts, Sam LaRue is going to have a full-time roster spot this season.
Yeah, with Dylan Robinson, let's go back to Dylan Robinson, is the fact that, yeah, he's not going to have his two brothers there this year, and it's going to be kind of weird not having both Brandon and both Justin there as well. I mean, good luck to you guys, Justin in
Yeah.
Ottawa and Brandon. We're going to be facing you for our first game
Yep.
coming into town. Try to take it easy on your brother. I don't know how that's going to go out, but I'm sure your folks are going to be like, well, you guys are brothers, don't forget. But regardless, Dylan has probably grown more from the previous year to now. How he listens and he looks at Ian McKay. He looks at the other transitions that we've had in the past. And
Dawson and Priolo.
yes, and you know what? That's awesome to learn from the very best themselves. And he is going to become one of the very best. If he keeps this up with how he does with his game style, he will be known as a great transition, great defenseman, doesn't take crap from nobody. He's going to have that toughness mentality that he's going to bring to the table for the Bandits this year. And I cannot wait to see what the Great Eight is going to do for Buffalo.
Definitely.
But
It's
for
going to be phenomenal.
Sam LaRue, like you said, he's been tossed from the practice squad back to the active roster, back to the practice squad, back to the active roster. Whatever he has done to earn and work hard for this position that he has now earned full time, he's going to have to show not only to the people of Buffalo, the fans of Banditland, but for the coaching staff and for himself. He deserves to be full time. And that's going to be a tough, pressured task for him to do it this year because now he's got to defend a title that he has kind of not really defended in a
And
way.
what does that say about his work ethic if he has earned a roster spot in week one? That
Yeah,
Johnny T looked at him and said, "You're activated week one." I mean
that's awesome. Good for him. He
that's
earned it.
huge. He's been a guy that's been plug and play. If a player gets injured, he's going to go in there and try to fill that void. But it looks like he's going to be his own player now. He doesn't have to rely on somebody to get injured or somebody to
Nope.
be suspended. He's going to be in there full
He's
time,
legit.
and he is legit. How about this rookie time, number 18, Lucas Nielsen? Don't know much about him. I know that he's a draft pick for the Bandits this year out of New Westminster, British Columbia. 6 foot, 180-pound forward. It's going to be interesting to see what we can expect from Lucas Nielsen. And he is very much so a rookie, as he doesn't even have a profile picture on his NLL page, which is pretty interesting. Nick Weiss, assistant captain, coming back. I mean, Nick Weiss, when I watched his mic'd up video in the playoffs last year against the Toronto Rock, that you know why this guy has the A. Sure, he doesn't score every single game. He's not like Dane Smith or Josh Byrne, but he brings something that is so overlooked at in sports, and that's toughness. If you don't have toughness, you're not winning. Look at the Buffalo Sabres. They have zero toughness on that team. And guess what? They've sucked the last 14 freaking seasons. When you have guys like Nick Weiss and Paul Dawson talking about toughness in the locker room, they have 6 titles in their franchise history to back that toughness talk up. And Nick Weiss is nothing short of a true tough guy on and off the floor.
Yes, he is, and the way how he represents himself, especially for the Bandits defense and transition, he is a workhorse as much as any of the defensemen that we have on right now in the main roster. Nick Weiss will defend his teammates whenever there's danger. He'll be grinding. He'll be like one of the workhorses to get to the loose ball, um,
Always laying
making
body
plays
checks.
happen and getting
Yep.
that and making the offense look good when he gets the transition. And that is huge to have Nick Weiss back too as well, because we don't know where half these guys are going to be next year, and it's just a blessing to have them back, just to see maybe this might be the path of what the future may hold for Buffalo. But Nick Weiss, we are happy that number 20 is the assistant captain again, and we cannot wait to see you play out there.
Absolutely. And another guy, I mean, the guy who kind of exploded on the season last year too, Justin Martin, coming
Yep.
back playing defense, 5'11", 182 pounds with a left-handed shot. And how about the MVP of the freaking championship, Josh Byrne, dude, coming back and coming back better than ever. That lefty shot, dude, he's so good. Um, we know Josh Byrne's expectations. He knows his expectations. He is going to look out for him to be again the main superstar on this team. He is the guy. But what's really good about the Bandits is there's more than one guy. You got Dane Smith on the who we're going to get into in a little bit. Josh
Yep.
Byrne is a superstar. Chase Fraser is a superstar. Nick Weiss in his own right can be a superstar. I mean, when you talk about superstar, we're not just talking about glitz, glamour, goal scoring, toughness, fighting, big hits, big checks. That's what this game is about. Speed, awareness, shooting. We got multiple superstars on this team. And that's why a main reason why this Bandits team has won back-to-back titles and they're going for that three-peat. But Josh Byrne, dude, I mean, he is if he stays healthy, you're gonna have a very similar season to what he had last year, because you could have all the film in the world on him. He's still gonna burn you. No pun intended with that.
I was about
He's
to start
still
laughing when
gonna
you said
he's
that.
still gonna burn you.
But going back to Martin, especially with his injury that he had last year, but he came back even tougher. Great to have Justin Martin back. And probably one of the smallest guys on the team. I'm not saying that because of the fact of difference of height, but again, just showing himself that he's a tough defender and that he is reliable, and that how he's going to help this defensive core get back and stay as, like the glue that they're holding. And for Josh Byrne, I really don't know exactly how to put this for other teams to
Enough
say,
said. Just say his
how
name, bro.
are you going to put out the fire in Josh Byrne? Is the way he scores goals and the way he just creates plays. He's super unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do. And it's so frustrating for defenders to even stop the man. And it takes one little shift of the hip or whatever on the stick. It does not matter. Josh Byrne, I got a feeling it's going to be another 100-point plus season for this man, because
Without a doubt.
like you said, is the 1-2 punch with Dane Smith and him. They are going to create mad goals and mad assists with each other. But again, Josh Byrne, MVP, well deserved. Dude's going to be scary good this year. I got a great feeling about Josh Byrne.
And he's a guy that when his time in lacrosse is done, 22 will be forever retired in Banditland without a shadow of a doubt. I mean,
Without a doubt.
just what he's done in the last 3 seasons alone is that resume is good enough to have your number retired in Banditland. How about the captain, Steve Priolo, listed as a defenseman, but we know he can play all the way up and down the floor.
Yep.
6'5", 227, two-time champion. He's been our captain for a long time now. You know my expectation with Steve Priolo. He doesn't put up with crap. I love that with a captain. And he's also tough in the regard with, oh, I see that you made a mistake. Here's how you can correct it so you don't make that mistake again. He
Yep.
he helps you out when you need to, and he's one of those guys that'll go to war for any player on the team. If there's someone that's going to get a cheap shot, you're going to have to answer the call when Steve Priolo drops the gloves and runs at you full speed. That's definitely something that we're going to be seeing a lot of going into this season. And how about this? A healthy number 25, Matt Spanger. We missed him last year, bro. We missed Matt Spanger in the season last year, dealing with injuries, a lot of nagging stuff that kept him out of a lot of big games. But it's great to see number 25 come back. And right below him, dude, you know when he's out on the floor, when He lines up in the faceoff dot, and when he wins that faceoff, 19,000 strong in Banditland erupts. Connor Farrell was recently signed to a 2-year extension, so he's locked up. Bandits Mafia, rejoice, because our Fogo guy is here for at least 2 more seasons.
Well, all I got to say is about for both Steve Priolo and for Matt Spanger being healthy again, this defense seems like a brick wall. It's like the Great Wall of China, and everyone's going to have to climb over, but with arrows shooting at them and harpoons getting knocked out, these guys are locked in stone. This could be probably the most dangerous defense that any team's going to have to face this year. Priolo, I like it how what you said too is that they broke it down with the quick videos that they see the replay and how they could fix whatever mistakes they made.
Yep.
And they just get stronger no matter how much you put into it. And with Spanger being back, I'm sure he was very upset with the fact that it's like, damn, I'm watching you guys win games without me and I can't contribute because of my injuries. But now he's healthy, he's back, and he gets to play not only with the captain again, Paul Dawson actually for full time.
And Cam
And
Wyer's
right
hitting his
there
prime.
alone is
Yep.
scary. That's tough grind right there. And it's like, who else do we put on this team that they're going to be like, I don't know who to face. I mean,
Do we
this
even need a
defense is
goalie?
very good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, do we even
And
need a
with
goalie?
Connor
'Cause
Farrell,
for real.
Farrell has proven to be a good Fogo guy, even though he started off strong. But then when it came down closer to the end, it kind of like showed a reality check of
Oh,
him
he
of
had some
saying, well,
tougher
I'm not going to win every
competition.
faceoff,
Yep.
guys, but
Yep.
I will keep us in this game. And you know what? That's okay. That's what we expected. But good for Connor Farrell to
Better
resign.
than it
He's
was.
back with a good championship team, and we cannot wait to see what he'll do game 1 in Rochester.
Oh, I can't wait. But I mean, hey, he had some tough competition in the playoffs, like TD
Of
Erling
course he did.
with the Toronto Rock, and man, we all know about the Albany faceoff crew. Goodness
Nardella, man.
gracious, dude. Joe Nardella is an absolute freaking stud, but it
He's,
was better than
he's
it was. It was way better than it was when we didn't have a Fogo guy. That was, oh
Mm.
my God. I still have nightmares about that. Zach Belcher, we mentioned, dude, you said the Great Wall of China. I said like the Steel Curtain. This is like the
even
guy
better.
that who's going to get a full-time roster spot for the whole season. If you remember last year, Zach Belcher got called up right around halfway through the year. And I
That is
think
correct.
that was due to injury and maybe we had a lot of players on our defense getting hurt. Frank Brown being one of them, and
Yeah.
man, I remember
Martin was
Matt
out for a
Spanger.
while.
Martin was out, and Spanger was out, obviously. And they're like, who's going to answer? Who's going to answer the call? Who's going to answer the bell? And it was Zach Belcher. And I remember his first game very, very well. It was against Saskatchewan. Robert Church scored, got right in his face to try to like intimidate him, and he just took a swing at him. He's like, I'm not gonna. I don't care who you are. You're not getting in my face. And if I'm gonna make this roster, I'm gonna make this roster and do something memorable. That's what I remember. I remember him grabbing Robert Church's face mask and shoving him against the glass. That was awesome.
Yeah, Zach Belcher, man, I'm telling you, I didn't expect a lot from him when I first saw him, but then when each game progressed and how well he adapted to our the Bandits system, sorry,
No, you're good, bro.
he's become really good and not afraid of anything. I mean, taking some goofy penalties here and there. Okay, your ambitions are well, but you gotta, your mindset's got to be like, okay, I got to be a little bit more mature.
Clean it up.
Got to
Clean it
slow it
up.
down, but I also got to make sure that they're not going to push us around. And you know what, Zach Belcher did that, and God, this defense is so sick. I mean, we haven't even played game 1 yet, and I'm already frightened of this defense. How well it's going to be. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
I would hate to be a forward on another team facing against Dawson, Belter, Wires,
Priolo,
Spanger,
Banger,
Priolo.
Martin, Jesus.
Oh my God. Like it's absolutely nuts. And then to round out the active roster, we got 3 forwards, studs in their own right. We already mentioned 2 of them, but Kyle Buchanan, dude, he's back. He's back for another year.
One more time.
It felt like, I don't know this for a fact, but it felt like it took a little bit of convincing Kyle Buchanan to come back. And maybe when it was Paul Dawson saying, I ain't effing leaving or whatever, he figured, what the hell, I'll come back for another year too. And that was awesome. That was awesome, by the way. Kyle Buchanan, dude, the little water bug that he is, 5'8", 165, dancing around the crease, scoring very clutch goals. He was great in the playoffs last year too, dude. Bucky, the fact that he's back is awesome. And then you got Dane Smith and Chase Fraser to round out the active roster. I mean, 2 forwards in their own right that I think Frazier should have gotten extended for more than a season. I mean,
Agreed.
we've been preaching on this show for the longest time that this guy needs to join the 5-year contract club. Like he needs to join Josh and he needs to join Dane because they both got their 5 years last year. But you know
Mhm.
what? I don't care. As long as Frazier's still on the roster, I love that. And the fact that Dane Smith leading the league in assists for how many consecutive years, bro? How many years has this guy been top 3 in assists? Like he's just the ultimate points getter. And in the playoffs last year, no one had an answer for him. It was him passing the ball and it was Josh Byrne finishing the job. That was how it was. And none of the teams could catch on to that, which was the ultimate funny part. Uh, they just let Dane and Josh run wild, and I give a lot of the credit to Dane because that dude takes a beating, especially in front of the net, and
Yes, he does.
when he's getting those passes off at the last possible second. So I don't. He gets a lot of credit handed to him, but I mean that dude takes an ass whooping, and so does Kyle Buchanan, bro. I mean he is one of the shorter guys on the team, and he's the guy that's in charge of standing in front of the crease. Like he's got 6'6", what would be in outdoor lacrosse, long poles chomping at him 24/7. So
Yeah.
those last 3 guys, I mean Fraser too. I mean he instigates and brings it on himself a couple times, but all 3 of those guys take heavy contact, and I feel like they don't get enough credit for what they do.
Yeah, I have to say this about Kyle. Kyle Buchanan, I'm glad that you're back for another year. I don't know how many times I probably preached out to you and said, hey, you know for a fact you're coming back because you want to play at least one more time. And you know what? I'm
You
glad you
want a
heard me out.
three-peat.
And this was at the
Yep.
Buffalo store when both him and Chase Fraser was at the doing their signings. And I looked at him, I'm like, you're not done. You're not done.
Come
Why
back.
why are you saying, well, I got my family and I got my kids too? And understood. I completely understand. But I guarantee you, you said, I don't know about one more year. And I looked right dead in your eyes. I go, you're going to play one more year.
Yep.
And sure enough, we got the call. We found out he's going to sign for another year. Kyle, I thank you for so much for re-signing for one more. And the reason why is because he is a workhorse. He gets to the loose balls. He creates plays in the offensive zone. And again, it takes that little effort to get your second chances, your third chances in the offensive zone, keeping their defense tiring and tiring again. Like you mentioned in the playoffs, he was huge as one of the
Huge.
workhorses in the game. And Kyle Buchanan was one of those guys that created a way to get around the defenseman and get to those loose balls before they did and still keep the scoring drive alive. And the way how he did it is the way how I see Dane Smith,
Yep.
Josh Byrne, Chase Fraser, or Toho Kananakok or Chris Kluche to
Yeah.
go and get 50 plus points, whatever you want to name it. That's what he does best. He's a playmaker. I'm so happy we got Kyle Buchanan back for another season. And thank you, Kyle, for listening to me when I said you need to sign one more time.
And not
For
even that
James,
too. Like speed kills. Kyle Buchanan
yes,
is
it
one of the
does.
fastest players on this team, and there you got those big and tall defensemen out there chasing him around, but sometimes dude, he just outruns them at the top of the crease, and you can't help but leave him open in the middle of the slot, which
That's
leaves the other
right.
team's goalie going, "What the hell? How can you not see this guy in front of the net? He's just so freaking fast."
Yes, he is. And with Dane Smith coming back too, like you said, he's a playmaker himself with creating like the fact, am I going to shoot or am I going to pass? Am I going to shoot? Am I going to pass to either Dane Smith or to Chris? Because those three itself is like a solid forward line that we've been looking for that it may not be like with Josh and him getting 100 points and then Chris is in the back going, well, I got like what, 70, 80. I'm good with
Yeah.
that. Play on your line. Screw it. But if you throw, like you said, if you throw like Chase in there or you throw Tahoka in there and watch the creativity just grow with the way how they just blossom their way of scoring points, it's unheard of. It's so scary that the only way you're going to beat them is you got to shut them both down. And it's impossible to do so because when Dane Smith has the ball, you don't even know if he's going to score goals or not. If it's Josh Byrne or Chris or whoever you want to name on the
Or
roster,
if it's a
the
hidden ball trick.
roster is set to do it again.
Yep, and you know, when Johnny T is your head coach, John Tavares, the greatest indoor lacrosse player of all time, you know
Mostly agree on that.
he's gonna draw up some trick plays like we saw in game 2. Remember the hidden ball trick?
Oh, that worked with it. Oh my god,
I mean, you're gonna see that and more,
that was
especially
crazy.
going into this year too. That's
But
absolutely
with
crazy.
Chase not getting more than one year, oh, I'm
It
sorry. I don't have no nails. My tongue is like cut. because I'm pissed off. I'm actually upset about that. I hate to say it. Chase deserves more years than just 1 year at a time. He deserves a 2, 3 year contract or even 3, 4. That's
Right.
like you said, we've been preaching about this on our podcast for I don't know how many years now, that
How
the
many
man
weeks?
deserved
Yeah.
every single time he's been like really putting his all into every year. And I wonder if this going to be the year that he breaks 80 or better.
Oh man. I mean, this year technically he's playing for another contract. This is the carbon copy of
That's
last year.
what he is to playing for if you only got a year.
He has another year left on his contract. He's technically playing for another contract. So you are going to see freak Chase Fraser again this year. I hope everybody's ready
I
to
got
see
a
that.
feeling he's going to do good.
Goaltenders, Steve Orleman and Matt V. No Vince is back for another season. Not only is Kyle Buchanan back, not only is Paul Dawson back, but the man, the myth, the legend. Can I say this? Can I say best goalie in Bandits history, Matt Vince?
Yes, you can because it's true.
He's back for another season at age 40 freaking 2. He's back.
42 years old and still kicking it. My God, people. What does
The
that tell
GOAT.
you?
The
Heart.
GOAT.
Heart. It's all heart. That's what it is. And I cannot wait to see 48 back in the net again. And you know what? And that scares teams too. Not only do you have a great defense in front of them, you have the best goaltender in the world to face. And what does that
Yes.
tell you? What does that tell you? Age means nothing to him.
Just a
He's
number.
still in his prime. There's nothing changing that. And everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he had a bad he was playing absolutely bad. He got injured. That was a sign that it was time for him to go."
Everybody
He
was playing
basically
bad
just
in the
said,
first
"Shut
half of
the
the year.
hell up,
Yeah,
because I'm still here."
and and also, newsflash, everyone in the first half of the season wasn't playing their best lacrosse. So
Yes.
we can't just be blaming 48 for that.
Nope.
I mean,
No.
this team started off 5-6
Won't
last
do it.
year.
I
Five
won't
and
do it.
six through the first half of the year. 5-6, that means everybody wasn't playing up to par, not just Matt Vince. But I love what the Bandits are doing otherwise, because Vince, this could easily be his last season. I know we say that. We've been saying that for 3 years on the show. This could easily be his last season. What
Mhm.
they're doing is developing. We're going to head into our practice squad now. Evan Konstantinopoulos, this 6'5", 205-pound goalie who's extremely raw. He is going to be sitting the bench and watching the greatest goalie of all time play the game for 3 seasons. This is Brett Favre teaching Aaron Rodgers the ropes.
Pretty much.
That is what I have with this guy. Evan Konstantinopoulos, he has his height, which is great. But Matt Vince is going to teach him to get down and dirty, get down on a knee, make a big shoulder save, make a big pad save, cover the ball when it's at the top of the crease. He's learning all the fundamentals from the greatest indoor goalie that this team has ever seen in their history. And we've had some damn good ones with Kenny Montour and Steve Dietrich and Pat O'Toole. We've had some great goaltenders
Yeah.
in this organization. The fact that he's learning from the greatest in this organization, Evan's got to feel great about himself.
Oh yeah, especially with coming in on board, and this will be like his second season, technically speaking, being still on the team. But
Yep.
he is learning, and he's going to grow. And again, he's still a very young man that he's going to eventually get his playing time, and he will eventually show the world and the National Lacrosse League why he might be the next generation of Matt Vince in the future. And he's going to have to get down and dirty. He's going to have to learn how to make the saves when he's super tall, and he's got to like get down to eye level with everybody else. Be like, well, this doesn't look comfortable for me, but he will adapt and he will grow and he will, excuse me, and he will learn from the best. So, like you said, he's got Matt Vince. He's even got Anthony Cosmo.
Yep.
That's another name we
Yep.
got too.
Anthony Cosmo too. How could I forget? Yeah, I
So,
mean, so he definitely has a bright future. Still very young, but
yeah,
has a ton of potential. A couple draft picks: Taylor Dooley, defenseman, we're number
yeah,
17 out of Lindsay, Ontario. We also have Trent Robertson from Clarington, Ontario, 6'4", 225 pounds. I'd love to see him get into the game if anybody gets injured. I mean, that's a huge frame right there. So I'd love to see him get some reps.
sure.
Clay Scanlon too. A bit of a wild card pick there for forward, 5'10", 175 from Irving, New York. We got an Irving guy on the team now, which is
Yeah,
crazy. We have a Wheatfield guy in Zach Belter. We also have an Irving guy in Clay Scanlon on the practice squad as well. So a lot of draft picks on the taxi squad right now. On the PUP list, the physically unable to perform, we do have Bryce Sweeting, but it'd be interesting to see if he gets called up at all during the season. The injury report in the NLL is weird, and we saw that a lot in the 2023 season, where
Yeah, it was odd.
all of a sudden, Chris Kluche out of nowhere gets activated. Oh, okay, sweet. Kluche is activated. Cool. You can see that same effect with a guy like Bryce Sweeting, who brings a ton of leadership. And believe you me, people, he wanted to play in that championship game, that championship series last year. He missed the entire year, so it'll be interesting to see what he does this year. And on the injury reserve, we do have Emerson Clark on the team, which I don't think we're going to be seeing much of him this season. But yeah, there's your roster layout, guys. Unless proven otherwise, your boys on this show, Trevor Hauer and Tony LaMonica, it's three-peat or die, three-peat or nothing. Who are the key departures, Tony, that we're missing? Corey Highfield, he
Yep.
left, and I don't remember
Both Robinsons.
Both Robinsons. So we got a Robinson in Ottawa.
Yeah.
We have a Robinson in Rochester. We got Justin's in Ottawa, and Brandon is in Rochester, so he's down to 90. Not sure his thoughts about that. I'm sure he probably wasn't thrilled to be leaving the Bandits, if I'm being honest. And Corey Highfield, where did he go, to Albany? Yeah, I think
he went to
Albany.
the Albany Firewolves.
Yep. So I mean, we have some departures, but it's a business, Players are going to leave. Players are going to go elsewhere. Players are going to have different opportunities on different teams, and then obviously we have some new faces here, and it's the same story from last year pretty much. But I would argue our roster now, especially the defense, man, holy smokes,
defense is locked.
Is better than it was last year.
It's definitely locked in. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what. I mean, first game is going to be in Rochester. Yeah, it's not going to be a home game, but it's going to be a home game to us because we're going to have Banditland in Bay,
yes.
Blue Cross. You better believe that.
War Memorial is going to be all covered in orange and black.
I cannot wait.
I will tell you this. I would also tell you this. I'm not going to look too much into this because I don't know about. I'm going to say Steve Dietrich should be on the phone. Callum Crawford, former Bandit prospect, has been cut by the Philadelphia Wings. Don't know what the hell they're doing. But Callum Crawford is a free agent. And we actually traded him away to bring Sean Evans to the Bandits back in 2019, I believe it was. And dude, if you want to have if you want to reunite with your old pal who's amazing at the sport, this is a guy that Philly took out of the dispersion draft when the Panther City Lacrosse Club folded. They grabbed him in the dispersion draft and just cut him. I don't know what's going on over there in Philadelphia, but dude, if you want a place to play, I'm sure Steve Dietrich will find you a spot on this active roster.
Well, I mean, like I said, but there's going to be a lot of who are we going to give up to get Callum Crawford
if he's still active.
He's only still active on Philadelphia's payroll. I mean, if he's a free agent, maybe you can pick him up for whatever deals. I don't know, for a year just to see what he could do. But obviously, we know what he can do. He scored plenty of points when he did play with the Buffalo Bandits until the trade.
A lot against us too. He scored a lot against us as well.
Yeah, and number 98 might be showing back. Who knows? It depends on what they do. So, I mean, it would be great to have him back, but do we really need him?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
another
really
question. Yep, that's another good question. Do we really need him? I mean, I think that would solidify our huge shot in the playoffs at getting a high seed with a caliber player like him, but I can name you 5 forwards right now that probably have the similar effect of what a Callum Crawford would do. Nana Coke, Byrne, Smith, Kluche, Fraser. I think that's 5. I think I just rattled off 5 right there.
Yeah, you sure did. Real quick.
It's definitely something to look into for sure. I mean, I wouldn't. If I'm Steve Dietrich, I just want to test the waters, see what he wants, and because you can't go broke taking a profit, and I think you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Wayne Gretzky once said. So if even if he says no, I don't want to come back to the team that traded me. At least you said I made the call. At least you can say that I made the phone call.
Yeah. So, like I said, with Callum Crawford, if he decides he wants to come back, that's his choice. But again, I think we're just fine. I think with the way we got our roster set, I think it looks good.
And with that said, our 18 regular season matchups are here.
Yep.
Starting off in Rochester on December 7th at 7 o'clock p.m. at Ottawa. News flash to everyone out there, in case you've been living under a rock, the New York Riptide are no more. They
They're
have
no
moved
more.
on to bigger and better places as the Ottawa Black Bears. And in that first game that they played, they had a pretty solid crowd there in the Canadian Tire Center. I was pretty impressed especially with their 11-5 victory over the Toronto Rock. I loved every second of that. That was phenomenal. Then we have Banner Night. All 19,070 fans are getting a championship banner from the 2024 season. So you better go out to this game at 6:30, hosting the Rochester Nighthawks, being the home opener.
Get there early for that one, guys.
Please, and stay out late too. Go to Cobblestone after that game as well. Get your stuff signed.
Absolutely.
Then you have January 10th at home against the Toronto Rock. At home, January 18th against the Philadelphia Wings. At home, February 1st against the Albany Firewolves. So after your first 2 road games, we have 4 straight home games.
That's
and
right.
one of them being against the team that you beat in the finals, and the other one being against the team that you beat in the semis. So those, the Toronto Rock and the Albany Firewolf games, if I'm going to give my quick predictions here, those are my 2 games that I'm circling on this schedule right away.
Yeah, Toronto. I almost said Blue Jays. Toronto Rock. Back in Hamilton again. I guess we'll see what they can do. But again, we've had their number for the previous how many seasons in the postseason.
Man.
It's
this is kind of irrelevant, but I do think that their arena is getting renovated. I think they're playing in Mississauga this season.
Boy. So now it's even worse. They've gone from crap to more crap. What else can I say about these Toronto Rock? They're no longer in Toronto. They might as well
And
call
they still
themselves
can't beat the
in
Bandits.
Canada for all we know.
You can play in 3 different buildings: the Air Canada Center, the First Ontario Center. You can play in the new arena in Mississauga. Just keep in mind, no matter how many buildings you play in, the Bandits still own your franchise.
Pretty much. We basically, they call us, go, is it okay if we get a discount on their tickets? No. I don't know, but
Discount,
I mean, they're having just a downfall with the way how they played, especially against the new team Ottawa, which is, like you said, it's the former New York Riptide, and the way how now Jeff Peters has been out of this world playing ridiculous. But with also former Bandits Zach Higgins also playing as goaltender for them, and now that with Justin Robinson being one of the defenders, look what changed.
Jeff
It just shows you that anywhere a former Bandit goes, it just looks better. It just does.
Dude, Ottawa's going to be a good team this year, man. Don't sleep on the Ottawa Black Bears.
I would not send on them at all.
They're going to be a good team. February 14th, Valentine's Day at Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga, Ontario, against the Toronto Rock. That'll be a good game. February 15th, we're going to have a quick turnaround. Back-to-back games and back-to-back nights. The Bandits are going to be hosting the San Diego Seals at the KeyBank Center. If you remember that last year, that was our banner raising night, was against the San Diego Seals. So we're going to see them in February this year, so that's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I could do? Let's
see.
And
it's the week after. We got to go to San Diego. It's a home and home.
Can I do this on the fly? Let's see. We're going to improvise for our people on here.
Sure, go for it.
That are watching on YouTube. Can you guys see that? Anybody see that? Hold on. Hey, there we go. How about that?
Holy crap, that actually worked.
Hey, this is the stuff that you can't do on Zoom. I hope you guys know that. Tony, can you see me moving the schedule up and down?
Hell yes, I can.
All right, quick recap from where we are before. At Rochester this Saturday. At Ottawa on the 13th. Hosting Rochester for our home opener on the 28th.
Banner night, guys. Get there early.
Please get there early. Hosting Toronto January 10th, or as I should say, the Mississauga Rock. Hosting the Philadelphia Wings. Hosting the Albany Firewolves. 4 straight home games to start off the year. Traveling to Mississauga on V-Day to play the Rock. Then quick turnaround back to Buff, taking on the San Diego Seals. And then we travel on the 22nd to the West Coast, go to San Diego. That'll be a good game. As the Bandits, fun fact, they still have an undefeated record against the San Diego Seals in their existence. They have never lost a game against San Diego. Mm-hmm. Then they stay out west, go to Saskatchewan, play at the Rush, host the Roughnecks on March 8th at 6:30. Then they travel to the Saddle Dome, which this is a game, Tony, that if I'm going to a West Coast game this year, believe me, Brian and Bandits Mafia has been sending out all those hotel prices, all those flights. I think Calgary might be the one that I might want to go to on the West Coast.
That'd be cool.
March 15th in the Saddle Dome. Plus, I also want to visit the Saddle Dome before they demolish it. I mean, I feel like that's such a legendary building. A lot of
Yeah.
great talent has played there. A lot of if you're a big wrestling fan, a lot of Calgary Stampede wrestling took place in that dome. That's definitely a place that I want to visit. We
Okay.
also, for the first time in history, host the Las Vegas Desert Dogs on March 21st at 7:30 at the KeyBank Center. Travel to Banditland East, farther east, take on the
Yep.
Albany Firewolves. And then we host Brad McCulley and company on March 29th in the Vancouver Warriors. That should be a pretty good game at 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Go to I don't care how bad or good they are. I'm going to call them our West Coast nemesis in the Colorado Mammoth
Yes.
here in Ball Arena. That's going to be on April 5th at 7 o'clock p.m. Hosting Halifax at 7:30. We forgot to mention Halifax, key addition to their team, Christian Watts, is going to be coming back to face against the Buffalo Bandits on April 12th at 7:30. And then we end our season in Athens, Georgia, taking on the Swarm April 19th. So I think that's going to be a very good season for the Bandits. Do you have any schedule? What do you think the record is going to be for the Bandits? I mean, a couple years ago, they were 14-4. Last year, they were 11-7. So we got a little bit of a differing, dip in the season a little bit. We're still running with the unified standings. Number one, what is their record? Number two, where do you think they lie in the overall standings?
Well, how I look at it is now that you broke it down and who we're playing and exactly how the schedule pans out, it's going to be a very tough test to repeat for the third time. But it is still a possibility that we could still get that three-peat. The only thing is, the Bandits have to prove that, not
Yep.
the fans. The
Yep.
fans are always going to be behind them no matter what, 100%.
Absolutely.
So if I was to make a prediction, because how the schedule is panned out, I would still be an exceptional to see it go 12-5.
Oh,
Is the way
yes.
how, I mean, 12-5 or what would be actually be 13-5 because it's
13
18
and
games,
5.
you said, right?
Yep, 18 games. Yep,
So I
13
would
and
say
5.
I think 13-5 is a most respectable guess, in my humble opinion, because they're going to see. You know how what we said about when we did go 14-4 last year, and those losses made us humble, and how we
Yep.
got stronger. It's going
Yep.
to be this. I feel like it's going to be the same story, the way how we have become. So I see us going 13-5, still making the postseason, and after that, whoever we play may determine the outcome. But again, I if Toronto makes it somehow and they have to see Buffalo, yeah, get the brooms out again because I don't see them winning a game at all.
Oh, I might meet your record and last year's record in the middle. I'm going to say 12-6
12
because
and 6.
the Bandits, as good as they are, I feel like every team goes through this, don't they?
Mhm.
Every team has a WTF type of game. And the
Right.
Bandits last year, they had a couple of those. There was the Vancouver one was a head
Yep.
scratcher. The Panther City in overtime was a bad one. The Georgia home game in December last year, that was a low scoring goalie duel that we were on the wrong end of. But I'm gonna go with 12-6. I mean, we do have a lot of tough competition, especially coming into our barn. The teams that are coming into this house, they know damn well the Bandits are back-to-back champs. They're gonna have to dethrone them, try to dethrone them even more.
Yeah.
So I feel like 12-6. Do we have a spot for you in the overall standings? Where do you think the Bandits will finish at 13-5?
Well, I mean, in 13 out of 18 games, that should secure at least a 2 or 3
Top 3?
spot, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
I would say that's exactly where they're going to be is 2 or 3. I don't know if they're going to be the top dog like they were last year, but I could be proven wrong. I mean,
I
you never
I
know
I
with the way
think we
how things are
snuck
going.
in. I think we
But
snuck in and got a home playoff game because we beat the Desert Dogs in the last game of the season. I think that was
that's true too.
yep. I think that was kinda how we got our spot. I'm gonna say 12-6, and we get the 4 seed.
Okay.
I think we host a playoff game, but the reason I say this is because, I mean, I gotta take the fan glasses off too. You gotta realize that teams are evolving, not just the Bandits.
Yep.
They're looking they're all these teams' number 1 goal, especially Toronto, Georgia, Albany, their number 1 goal this year is to dethrone the Bandits to make sure that they're not going back to the championship. So
That's right.
they already had that one title. Now you throw on another one. It's going to be even harder this year to go
Yes,
for
it
that
is.
three-peat. And Dane says it all the time. Dane, Josh, everyone on that team, they say it all the time. The hardest thing to do in sports is to win that championship, and they've done it back to back. So you got to think of how difficult it is to go back to back to back and win 3 in a row. And a team that, again, a city that's never done that since Rochester in the 2010s when they were with their ultimate dynasty with Matt Vince. But I decided to throw it up there. Tony's prediction is 13-5.
Yep.
I have a 12-6 record. Dude, I can't wait. And when later on during this week, as we're approaching the weekend, we will hit you with our first pregame episode of Banditland Boulevard for the 2025 season as we travel down the 90, go eastbound to take on the Rochester Nighthawks, aka Banditland East. And then Albany is Banditland further east. That's what
Further
we call it
east.
down there. Because, I mean, if you guys watch the finals and you watch game one, I would say 50% of the fan base was Bandits. But, dude, it's going to be a great season. I can't wait. Talking about the defense, going over the roster, going over the schedule makes me want to run through a freaking wall.
Guys, I mean, we've got most of our players coming back from last season. Again, we got a few new faces, especially with the draft picks that we've gotten. Do we see somebody get hurt, or do we see somebody of these rookies come in and play? Possible. It could be any time that Johnny Tavares decides to, because like he says, he may have new tricks up his sleeves to keep this championship run going, but that's up for the system and the game planning for the Buffalo Bandits to keep continuing their drive to win number 3 in a row and to get to be known as the 6-time champions.
You have to count on two hands the amount of championships this team has won. And I love saying that. And I'm also excited to see, since we went over the schedule, I'm also excited to see the different kind of jerseys we're going to see this year. We experimented last year with the Marvel jerseys, the one in Halifax and the one at home against Saskatchewan. We had new Marvel jerseys. I'm excited to see what we're going to do with those. I've heard from Scott Loeffler that he's reached out to a certain number 9 to get his number retired. So if we want to do that this year, that'd be freaking phenomenal.
That would be awesome.
I would love to see that. And the most important thing going into this year is the mindset that you have won back-to-back titles. I can't get enough of that. Thinking of that as a fan.
Winning titles, you can't. It's a fantastic feeling, and now you even have a much bigger target on your back, because all the teams, like you said, are out to get the number 1 team, and that's
Toronto,
us. So
Colorado,
we have got
Albany, Georgia, all those teams.
Every single team out there knows they have to defeat us to prove a point, but we have to make sure to keep that light bright on us. So that's the only way we got to see it.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great to see, and I love that we did this too. This is a great idea. Buffalo Bandits 2025 season preview. And also thanks to StreamYard for not silencing us and limiting us to 40 minutes.
Oh, thank you,
We're
God.
going on. This is our 52nd minute right now. And I feel like I feel like with this new platform, we're evolving. The Bandits are evolving. We can have more thorough breakdowns of each game, more thorough previews of each game. We're not just handcuffed to 40 minutes. So the next time, you may have noticed last year, we really didn't have a lot of player interviews.
No, we didn't. We had a few, but we didn't have many.
We didn't want to limit it to 40 minutes. So this is a great new idea that we're trying to do, and we're gonna reach out to some alumni and some current players. So it's gonna be great. So just buckle up. It's gonna be a hell of a season.
Yes, we can't wait. And guys, for those of you, have to say again to those sponsors that we have, both Mitchell's Tavern, Herney's Journeys, and to keep us live on YouTube and also Spotify for everyone to listen in.
And StreamYard too. Shout out you guys.
We do not want you to be quiet. We want you to chime in. We want you guys to join our show. We want you guys to say your input about the things about Buffalo Bandits lacrosse. We want everyone involved. So please do not be afraid to say, hey, it is time for my input. Okay, get on the show, and we want you to
send us an invite, man.
Piece.
Send us an invite. That's all you got to do.
Please. We will be happy to.
And then I'm going to put this in here too.
What's that?
I'll put our social media in here as well. Just so people know where they can find us. We're doing this on the fly, guys. You can totally tell.
This is so cool.
Guys, it's so nice. And then this is our Facebook. Once I get it up here.
Yep.
If I knew how to spell, that would help us out. Guys, this is us on Facebook. This is our Facebook right here. Go ahead. Our inboxes are open. Just send us a message. If you want to get
anytime,
on the show,
guys.
Just get on the freaking show, man. That's all you got to do.
Can't wait to have you.
So
hopefully get the head coach
Trevor
involved.
Hauer.
Maybe we'd like to see Johnny T on here. if we can get him on here.
Oh, that would be the absolute unit that he is. If we can get him on this show, man, that'd be phenomenal. Maybe Dan
Maybe we
Smith.
have Slenny back on the show. I mean, I love to
Oh,
have that guy back on here.
I love, honestly, my goal this year is to get Gertler on the show. We got to
Who?
get Gertler, John Gertler.
Oh God, that would be sick.
We got to get Steve Bermel on the show. We got to get Dave Buchanan on the show. We got to get Patty Speedy McCready on the show too, because I know he's up there in the press box from time to time, and he's doing games with Gertler as well. So I
Yeah,
love to get him on the show as well. But
yeah.
yeah, guys, thanks for watching. It's our first episode of the new season.
This is awesome.
Hopefully you guys stick around and enjoy. Hit the subscribe button, guys. We want to grow
Yep.
our brand. And if you want a show that's solely based on the Buffalo Bandits, Banditland Boulevard is the show to subscribe and listen to.
Yep. So, guys, don't be afraid to ask us and come on board. We'll be more than happy to take your questions. And we also would like to hear about what you feel is your opinion about the Buffalo Bandits lacrosse.
That's Tony LaMonica. I'm Trevor Hauer. This is Banditland Boulevard. Shout out to all of our awesome sponsors. We're going to see you on the preview when we hopefully search and destroy the Rochester Nighthawks and snap the 2-game week 1 losing streak in back-to-back seasons. Hopefully we can start off 1-0 this year. That would be absolutely phenomenal. We're going to break that down for you on the next episode, but there's your season preview right there. Predictions, roster breakdown, those are all subject to change as the season goes on, but I felt like this was something fun to do. Trevor Hauer, Tony LaMonica, signing off for now. We got 3 words to wrap the show up. What are those 3 words, Tony?
Here we go. Let's go Bandits.
Let's go.
Let's go for a third time.
Woo!